Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Edu Talks by AB. And today, with us, we have an actress who's turned into a sports entrepreneur. So, welcome to Edu Talks by AB. And today, we have Preeti Nani. Hi, Preeti. Welcome to Edu Talks.
Hi, Abhishek. Thank you very much. It's absolutely my pleasure to be here.
Great. So, without wasting any time, we will directly and start with your latest sports entrepreneurial venture. So, you have made a remarkable journey when it comes to Bollywood to sports entrepreneurship. What inspired this transition into a world of sports from a world of acting?
We see a lot of similarity in the world of entertainment and the world of sport because the way we have projected the Pro Panja League and the way we see sport in general is that sports is also entertainment. It's a form of entertainment. So when you put it out there to the viewer, when you kind of introduce a sport or introduce a league to the viewer, you have to keep in mind what the viewer likes, what kind of sports will he, considering that there's so much to watch on television right now. How does your sport compete with the remote control? So that was the thought behind an entrepreneurship in a sports league. Of course, we already had Parveen was already kind of running the MMA India show. We are also officially accredited with the UFC, and the natural progression for us would have been to do a league in MMA or something else with regards to MMA because we know the entire MMA world and how it works and everybody there. Uh, but we felt that the actual potential was in the sport of arm wrestling. Uh, Firstly, it's a desi sport. It's not just desi, it's actually played in 80 countries, 80, 90 countries throughout the world. At the last World Championship, which was held in Bulgaria, we had 75 countries playing. So it's a sport that's very well known in India. It's a primal sport. It's an intrinsically Indian sport. Yet it's a sport that's played in a large number of countries abroad as well. Plus, it's a very exciting sport to watch, and everybody wants to get on the table once they watch it. I'll give you a small example of why we felt so. We had when we had our one of our first few events, which was at just with the backdrop of the gateway of the India, and we had a few. It was just during in between lockdown, so we had a very few elite invitees only crowd, which included there were owners of schools, there were
Mhm.
IT professionals, there were bank owners, there were bank executives, so all kind of elite people who had never seen the sport before and never knew any of these athletes. And there was a huge
Right.
fight going on, which went on to the best of five with this Sardarji called Karaj and this boy from Gwalior called Sachin Goyal, who's now got more than 2 million followers on YouTube from where he started.
Wow.
He's huge now and he's known as the bicep king of Gwalior.
Mhm.
So the match was so intense. The people by the end of it were standing on their tables and screaming either Sachin, Sachin, like a kind of like a cricket match, or Chak de Phatte Karaj. So that's the kind of excitement and primal kind of excitement that the sport generates. We felt
You know,
that sport has the
it's so
potential to
nice
become.
how you describe the entire electricity in the atmosphere in that sense. So, right from a Wankhede Stadium to with a Gateway of India in the background, it's I like how you're describing it. I can feel the entire energy, what it must have been down there.
Yes, exactly. So, and that's when we felt that the potential of Panja or arm wrestling is unexplored. It's actually a sport which is the huge number of players. At our national championships, we had 2,000 athletes, and every year the number increases. It's becoming difficult for the federation to manage. I now head the national federation as well. I'm the president of the People's Arm Wrestling Federation India, as well as Parveen and I jointly run the Pro Panja League, which is a professional league as well.
Right. So when when we are looking at it from a more formal perspective of uh, kind of putting that sport in the TV sets of drawing rooms in that sense. How do you feel that it relates to the youth development as well? Definitely, it's like you mentioned, it's a very desi sport, although it's got an international exposure as well. But when it comes to turning people's mindset towards a sport, how do you feel that it engages with the youth at this point of time, keeping in mind that we have the highest youth demographic in the world?
Look, the way we felt we can promote this sport, and why the reason why the viewership for season one and season two for the Pro Punjab League was much larger than many similar or newer or indigenous sports leagues was due to the fact that we didn't come to broadcast with the league directly. We spent a lot of years before that doing a lot of smaller tournaments all over India.
Right.
We did. The advantage of our sport is that we can set the table anywhere. So we set it in front of the Gwalior Fort. We did a huge
Wow.
tournament then. We set it in front of on a tourist boat in Bhopal Lake, on a casino boat in Goa. We set it in front of the Gateway of India, in front of the Taj Mahal. We set it in front. So we set it in front of a lot of at the banks of the Narmada River. What this did was, generate a lot of curiosity and knowledge about the sport and awareness about the sport.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
Another thing we really worked on hard on was not getting celebrities to join the leagues, which a lot of other people were doing, but to create heroes of the sportsmen themselves, because that is when the people will actually start watching the sport, and that is when the youth, like you said, would get attracted more towards the sport when they see this the sports stars being the athletes themselves. So, like I said, a couple of our athletes, they started from 2,000, 3,000 Insta followers. They're now to huge number of Instagram and YouTube
Right.
following. I mentioned
Hmm.
Sachin. There's another boy from Uttarakhand who's also got a huge following. There's plus females, female athletes. Their lives have changed, and the young girls see this. There's a girl from Haryana, a lady from Haryana in our league, Nirmal, whose husband was not allowing her to come. He said, there's no way she can come for the league. It's 21 days. I'm not letting her, leave the house. It will spoil my wife and this and that. There's another athlete of ours, Yogesh Chaudhary, who kind of
Hmm.
convinced Nirmal's husband. The
Okay.
days that
That,
Nirmal won a match, the next day, her husband has put up a huge screen in the gown and called everybody to see my wife is winning golds. Look at this, and it kind of created an atmosphere in that whole village, a sporting atmosphere, an atmosphere for the young girls to come out of their houses and build. Uh, Another Muslim lady called Fareen Dalvi, when
mhm.
she won a very hard fought match. And when she won, she said, I have no gyms, absolutely no gyms, nothing in my hometown. And my only practice was housework, chakki pisna, you know,
That's
the
as we say it,
yeah,
that
to clean our
the
house,
Indian
pot.
lifestyle has a lot of manual
Yeah, and she
efforts
won.
to it as well, and
And when
not
she
just
came
mental
back,
space.
yeah, when she came back for season two, she said, "Look, the landscape of my village has changed. There's gyms all over." So we are influencing the youth not just with the federation, where we do events from the ground up and take the youth away from when we leave a table wherever we go and we do our tournaments, we leave the table there, and we leave a proper person to man it with a proper person who knows how to play to make sure that there aren't that many injuries. Um, we uh, uh, it, it forms a sporting culture around the table and in that area. It keeps the
Okay.
youth away from a lot of bad things which are happening a lot in the Punjab and in the north, with regards to drugs and with regards to laziness and a lot of bad habits that the youth are getting into. So it attracts the youth towards sport, towards being fit, because Panja or arm wrestling doesn't require just hand strength. It requires an entire body strength. You use your legs, you use your back, You have to have a lot of stamina because we do a best of five kind of matches. I mean, you do just one round and you see what it takes out of you. So yes,
Absolutely.
we are attracting the youth not just from the grassroots, but also from a professional league point of view, and also internationally. Our athletes are performing much better. We have two sub junior boys, Abhas Rana and Ranbir Singh this year.
Oh, wow.
Rajbir Singh, sorry. He's a 14-year-old boy who won the sub junior gold in the World Championship. And the World Arm Wrestling President, Mr. Asen Hojitodorov, he said that if you had told me a couple of years back that when there is a Bulgarian sub junior, when there's a Moldovan sub junior, when there's a Russian sub junior, when there's a Kazakhstani sub junior, that an Indian boy would come out and win the gold, I would have said it's impossible. But now, due to the popularity of the sport and to how many people are coming in and playing the sport, it's become absolutely these things are happening. Indian boys, Indian girls, Indian para athletes, they're winning golds. And now India has been, arm wrestling has been included in the Asian Youth Para Games this year from Dubai, which is a huge step forward to us. Also in the University Games, which will happen this year.
Ah, that's so nice to know. And personally, I really loved what you mentioned, that promoting a sport not through a celebrity but a sportsman himself or herself in that sense. I think that really inspires a lot of youth who actually want to get themselves there, or envisages themselves as one of a sports person in that sense. Looking at it from a little bird's eye view, like a successful sports entrepreneurship today in India is mostly a male dominated aspect, generally speaking, from a very layman's perspective. Anything specific you would want to share with young women who's wanting to enter fields like sports management or sports entrepreneurship?
Um, this question has been asked to me multitude times. You know, it's a man's world, and how do you navigate? You know, especially the world of arm wrestling. Actually, it is very, very
Right.
male dominant. And any sporting federation in India is very male dominated, or any sports league. As of course, now in the sporting league scenario of the world, there's a lot of women who are doing different, playing different roles. And in sports as well, there are women who do hold leading positions in the companies that run sporting leagues or in sporting companies. So in India itself, the scenario has changed drastically. I really don't know how it is internationally abroad, but yes, in the field of sports law as well, there's a lot of females. So the scenario is changing completely, and it is more about what you bring to the table than whether you're male or female. And I think in that sense, females have an advantage because we can bring a lot more empathy to this whole sporting world than there has been so far. What I actually set out to do was change the relationship between athlete and federation, which is more a hate than a love relationship. And I wanted the federation more to work, rather than working towards its profit, to work more towards the welfare of the athletes, and let the whole profit business come in more in the leagues where everybody benefits then. Because of the popularity of the league, is the Pro Punjab League is actually what gave a huge boost to arm wrestling in India. And what we can do for the athletes, we work a lot with the athletes, right from their social media, pushing them for their social media,
Mhm. Mm.
to forcing all our referees to have referee panels regularly, making sure that the level of refereeing in our country matches up to the world standards, making sure that our
Right.
athletes are well aware of the world kind of rules and the way they play abroad, and what can happen, what can't happen abroad as well, because
Mhm.
international competitions are a huge mainstay of arm wrestling. We are just leaving also at the end of this month for the World Arm Wrestling Cup, which will happen in Tashkent on the 30th of Jan. And we just came back from the World Arm Wrestling Championship, which was in Bulgaria in 2025. India, actually, we hosted the Asian Arm Wrestling Championship and Para Arm Wrestling Championship in Delhi in 2025, as well as the Asian Cup in Mumbai. So India itself is also getting a huge kind of experience in hosting international championships. So much so,
Mhm.
they enjoyed the Asian Championship so much that the World Federation and the Asian Federation have now granted us the rights to host the World Arm Wrestling Championship and Para Arm Wrestling Championship 2026 in India in October. Now, this is a huge thing. It's going to have more than, like I said, 75, 80 countries participating. And
Wow.
it's broadcast live on the Olympic channel, of course, but we're also trying to make sure that it will be here on all the Indian national channels and through broadcast channels. Digitally, of course, we've already crossed 1.7 billion views in
Mhm.
our social media. So social media, of course, will be huge. And the world's number one arm wrestler, Mr. Devin Larratt, has said that it's
Mhm.
going to be the biggest world championship ever because everyone's eyes are on India now because of what's happening in arm wrestling in India. So that's
That's really
huge news.
good
So
news.
I know you set out with the question about female entrepreneurship, and I went another way. So I just want to tell all the women. I was just got passionate about what I do out there. That if you're passionate about it and you're well researched, make sure you come to the table well prepared.
Hmm.
Maybe we have to work doubly hard at that, but it's only going to help you later on or anytime. So preparation, hard work, passion, nothing can, male or female, I think nothing can let you down. And then entrepreneurship, you have to be ready for a lot of downs before you see an up. And I think any entrepreneur will tell you that the
Mhm.
the person who succeeds is not the person who gets success fast, but the person who's consistent and who
Absolutely.
just sticks with it, and
Absolutely.
who does say, yes, I'm doing this even when he's down in the dumps, either financially or, either ways. You just have to stick with it and get through the next month, get through the next month, get through the next month. Any business entrepreneurship, young entrepreneur will tell you this. It's not easy. So if you get into it, into entrepreneurship, one has to be ready. Uh, it takes a lot out of you.
Absolutely. And that I think definitely the consistency is something that should be one of the backbone bits for most of these ventures to kind of stand on. I really liked something in the conversation that you mentioned earlier, that how women from like a village was initially discouraged to kind of join the Pro Panja League, but that kind of got remitted in that sense. So looking at sports overall, which has a very big contribution to mainstreaming when you look at it from a social armstronging side of things. So if you look at mainstreaming of young kids, be it like you had mentioned in Punjab, where you're mobilizing a lot of young minds to get into sports, then fall a prey and trap to a lot of other vices. I'll take the liberty to call it vices. So when you're looking at it from that social yardstick, does Pro Panja address any other such societal remedies in terms of women development, in terms of getting mainstreaming of young kids?
Besides all the factors that I mentioned, looking after women in and para athletes, we are the only league that have male, female, and specially abled all on the same stage or in the same league, in the same team, as well as if you're a number one ranked player, male, female, or specially able, you get an equal salary. So if you're a number one ranked player and the salary is 50,000, the male, female, or specially able or the para athlete will also get the same amount, will be 50,000. So the whole, and I think we're one of the few or if the only league that does that. Um, Especially for our para and our female athletes, we make sure that all their grievances are heard and looked after. We have special athlete commissions. We have female athlete commissions. We have and every commission is has a head, which is we make sure that it's brought to us directly. Plus looking after their nutrition, their food. We are also trying to get a lot of companies involved via CSR so that we can look after the nutrition and
Right.
well-being of all of our para athletes as well. So there's a lot of work going on. Plus the whole governance. We have
Mhm.
so many states under us to make sure that the governance of each state and the events and the state championships of each state that are being held are up to par with PAFI standards, and
Mhm.
to make sure that all the rules are followed properly. We have our guidebooks and our handbooks. Basically, we're just making sure that the structure is firmly in place so that our athletes have
Right.
as less discomfort as possible.
Right. So you mentioned the word governance. So if I look at it from a bird's eye view again, okay, what if I had to ask you from a personal perspective, if you could change one thing in India's approach to sports and skill development, related skill development, what would that be? What would be your personal wish, maybe that if that thing happened, probably it will change the dimension of sports and skills in India.
It's very easy to answer this question. It has to be more importance on sport in schools, because even today, uh, in mainstream cities like Mumbai and Delhi, in India, the concentration is more on studies. It's always
Right.
the studies first. And I see, like my son, my 14-year-old, he boxes. And the day he trains, he's so tired and he's so gone out, but he still has to make sure that he gets an A level in anything that he does. Uh, Otherwise, the teachers are on him, and it doesn't matter
Absolutely.
that he won a district gold in a DSO championship. It doesn't matter. He still has to be a 90 percentile student to get anywhere, to get admission into any college or get. It's just not, sports is just not given that much importance. Although I have to say that the school that they go to has done great strides in sports and they give a lot of importance to sport. But the Indian culture in India in general gives much more importance to studies than sport. And that is what needs to change. I think from the ground level, a lot more sports has to be introduced in schools, and more than just one PT period a week. You know what I mean? Or two PT classes.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely. So that addressing that mindset is
yeah,
completely
I think
something
it needs to start the day with
which needs to
sport.
be.
Yes, yes. The schools need to start the day with sport, maybe allow the children a gap and then start the studies.
Right. I think not just the school, for every viewer who's watching this and listening to it, I think it's one of the major bits to change your own mindset for, the system to resonate with what you want in that sense. Of late, we have had
And
a
90,
lot of.
yeah, you're from the UK, but I feel Indians, even abroad, they would rather concentrate on their academic career or their academic qualifications than availing of the amazing facilities that you have right there in the UK for sport.
Absolutely. I can't agree more with you, Preeti, on that, because there is a lot of concentration towards general fitness, as well as when you look at sport as a profession as well. So definitely addressing the mindset there towards general fitness as well is one of the first steps, I think, that a lot of parents should look after,
For
which
sure.
we generally have a lot of social media bit as well, but I think the awareness needs to
I
go on
especially
a
say
lot
here,
more.
us in Bombay, we, you know, the whole getting up in the morning and working out should be your first thing to do. It will that culture will still take some time. In cities like Delhi and everything, there's still that whole morning walk is still a thing, and a lot of
Uh,
people
so,
do that.
so currently, as we are having the conversation, I'm there in Delhi, and definitely in the
You're not doing any
studio.
morning walks, are you?
There is a
No chance of a morning
heater
walk.
on the one side and an air purifier on the other side.
Yes.
So yes, I would suggest to take caution while you recommend outdoor sports,
Yeah.
but. Thank you so much, Preeti, for taking your time out. And for audience who's watching us, do subscribe on to EduTalks by AB. And as we say, keep it fit. Open your mindset towards a lot more than just concentrating on books as the only medium of education. And don't forget to like and subscribe onto the EduTalks channel.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abhishek. It's been an absolute pleasure.